There are a lot of new housing developments in Vaughan, and some of you have been driving through these new communities. The model homes look incredible, everything is fresh, modern, and move-in ready. I know this is not what you want to hear, but I want to have an honest conversation with you about new construction. There are things that happen the day that you sign the agreement at the sales center and the day that you get your keys that most buyers never see coming. And by the time they do, well, it's too late. Hello, my name is Ali. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a real estate broker here in the city of Vaughan, and every year I help families buy, sell, and move up in this market. I track the trends and watch what buyers and sellers are actually doing, and I bring those insights to you in these videos. If you find it useful, like, subscribe, and pass it along to somebody else who needs it. And if you're ready to make a move, book a quick call with me. The link is down in the description. Look, I get the appeal of new construction. I genuinely do. There's no previous owners, no surprises hiding behind someone else's renovations. Everything is fresh and yours from day one. And Vaughan has seen a lot of it. Remington Homes, Gold Park, Green Park, Mosaic, Countrywide, Paradise Homes, and the list goes on. There's major developers here and they've been active for a while. From high-rises in VMC to freehold subdivisions across the city, and there's more coming. But here's the thing. Regardless of who is building, there are universal issues with new construction that every buyer needs to understand before they sign anything. I've helped families navigate new construction purchases in Vaughan, and I've also gotten calls after closing from families who wish they had known what I'm about to tell you. And before I get into the list, I want to say something that is going to save you a lot of money. The price on that agreement is almost never the price you actually end up paying. Let me show you what I mean. I've sat with families at a builder's design center. I've watched what happens. They walk in thinking, we have our budget, we know what we're doing. They walked out having committed to 60, 70, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars more than they actually planned. And here's why. When you walk through a model home, everything you see has been staged to show the property at its absolute best. The flooring, the cabinetry, the lighting, the countertops, everything. Most of what you're looking at is an upgrade, not a standard inclusion. The base package in your purchase and sale agreement that your home is built on is often significantly more modest than what you're actually standing in the sales center. I work with a family who signed on a new build in Vaughan. They budgeted carefully. They felt prepared, but by the time they sat down with a design consultant and started making choices on their upgrades, they spent tens of thousands more than they actually intended. And those upgrades, well, they get added to your purchase price, which means they affect your mortgage amount, your monthly payment, and your land transfer tax. Go to the upgrade center with a firm budget. Write it down before you get there. Decide in advance what matters most to you and what you can do yourself after closing for usually a fraction of the price. Now, I do understand that it's inconvenient to do it afterwards, but there's quite a bit of money to be saved. The next thing I want to touch on is lot premiums. If you want a corner lot, a lot backing onto green space, a quieter street within the development, well, you could be paying $20, $50, or even over $100,000 more on top of the base price, just for the location of the lot within the same community. Ask about this specifically before you fall in love with a particular location. And then, development charges. This one catches families completely off guard. In Ontario, builders pass development charges on to buyers at closing. In York Region, on a new freehold home, those charges can run between $80,000 to $130,000, in some cases even more, depending on the municipality and the size of the home. Now, builders often cap development charges in the agreement of purchase and sale, so read that clause carefully. If the actual charges at closing exceed the cap, you pay the difference, and those charges have been increasing. The next point I want to make is the MPAC, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation. Your lender will estimate your property tax for mortgage qualification purposes, but once the home is built and assessed by MPAC, your actual property tax may be quite a bit higher than what was estimated. Now, this isn't a reason to avoid new construction, but it's something to factor into your budget so you're not caught off guard a year after you move in. Now, what you should be doing is getting a good real estate lawyer, one that is experienced in new construction, to review your agreement before you sign it and not after. Now, this next issue is the one that surprises people the most. because the assumption when you buy new is brand new means no problems. However, that is not always the case. Let's be frank. Things aren't being made like they used to. You notice it in your clothes, cars, toys, and other gadgets. Real estate is not much different. I want to tell you something honestly. I've walked through new builds in Vaughan and the GTA during and after construction, and what some home inspectors find inside those walls, well, some of you would be shocked. The average home isn't built with the same quality and standard of care as they used to. God bless those old school Italian and Portuguese bricklayers and the carpenters that built our city with care. They're few and very far in between these days. Nowadays, you walk through a new home and you'll find improper shingle installation, framing deficiencies, plumbing not properly secured, electrical work that doesn't meet code, insulation gaps, grading issues all around the foundation. Why does this happen, you ask? Well, it's because builders want to complete the projects as soon as possible. They're chasing profits, and that pressure flows down to the trades. And when the trades are rushed, well, corners get cut. I've had clients come to me after closing on a new build and tell me things were not done right with the home. Things they noticed after they moved in, things that should have been caught before closing. Here's what I tell every family thinking about buying new construction. Hire your own independent home inspector. And I can't say this enough, not the builder's inspector, but your own inspector. Someone whose only obligation is to you. Have them inspect at multiple stages of the build. Not just the final completion, but the framing stage, the mechanical roughing stage, and that final walkthrough before you close. Now I get it. Yes, it does cost money, around $300 to $500 per inspection. But catching a framing issue before drywall goes up costs a fraction of what it costs after the home is fully finished. And in Ontario, you have rights under the TRREB new home warranty. You have coverage for defects in the work, in materials, the building envelope, and major structural defects for defined periods of time after the closing. But TRREB claims require you to document issues and submit them within a specific time frame. You have 30-day, 1-year, and 2-year warranty submission windows. If you miss them, you can lose your right to make a claim. Put those dates in your calendar the day you close. Be prepared for delays because they happen. Delays in new construction are not the exception, they're closer to the norm. I had a client that was supposed to close in the fall. Everything was planned out, mortgage lined up, the rate was held. 2 months before closing, well, the builder came back and said, we're running into delays, we have to push back the completion date. They ended up closing 4 months later than they planned. And the families on that same street who had sold their homes first, well, they were renting month to month and they couldn't give their landlords an end date. And, they're just living out of their boxes of things that they had packed. Now, for my clients, it did work out for them, but I've seen situations where it didn't, where rates moved, where carrying costs just exploded, where families were stuck between a sold home and a new home that wasn't ready. When you're reviewing your purchase and sale agreement with a builder, and please, have a real estate lawyer review it before you sign. Pay close attention to the delayed provisions. They're in the TRREB warranty statement of critical dates. How many times can a builder extend your closing date? You need to know this. Under what circumstances? What are your rights if the delays become excessive? And when you're planning on your finances, don't plan around the original closing date as if it's guaranteed. You have to build a buffer around it because statistically speaking, it will likely move. And this next one, this one doesn't get talked about enough. There is an assumption that new construction is always a safe investment. Not only do I want to challenge that, but I think the past couple of years has shown us otherwise. When you buy into a new community, the builder still controls the pricing of every other home in that development. And if the builder has unsold inventory, which in today's market many do, they will drop prices. They'll offer incentives and do what it takes to move those units and get them sold. And when the builder drops prices on new homes in your community, well, the value of your home drops with them. Because let's be real, why would a buyer pay your resale price when they can buy brand new in the same community for the same money or less? I'm seeing this right now in many parts of the GTA. Builders are sitting on completed inventory. Resale owners in the same communities are watching their values get pulled down by the builder's pricing decisions. Decisions that the homeowners have no control over. If you're buying a new construction in Vaughan, you should plan to be in that home for a long period of time, at minimum 5 years. And 10 is better. Because in the short term, you may be competing directly against the builder for resale value. and that competition you will not win. And before I wrap up, here are the questions I want you to ask before you sign anything. What is actually included in the base price? Get the full list in writing before you visit the upgrade center. What are the total closing costs, including development charges? Ask for a full written estimate for all of it. What is the builder's delay history on recent projects? TRREB maintains a builder directory with warranty claims and performance information. Use it. What are my TRREB warranty rights? And what are the submission deadlines? Know the 30-day, the 1-year, and the 2-year windows. Set yourself some reminders. And who is my independent inspector and when are they coming? Not the builder's inspector, but yours. If you're family in Vaughan, considering new construction, and you want someone to walk you through all of this with you, reviewing the agreement, understanding the true costs, and asking the right questions, book a quick 15-minute call with me. The link is down in the description. Look, new construction can absolutely be the right move for the right family, for many families. But going in without understanding what I just walked you through, well, it's how families end up stressed, over budget, and stuck in situations they did not plan for. Share this with a family you know who's considering new construction right now, because most buyers don't ask these questions until they've already signed. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Ali, helping Vaughan families make the right move.